Okay, so today we're going to introduce slope. You should recognize this from pre-algebra in Algebra 1, but this is a big topic for Algebra 2 this year. This lesson has 3 different parts. We're going to figure out how to find the slope between 2 points. We're going to write the equation of the line given the slope and the y-intercept, and then we are also going to write the equation of the line and solve for y to get it in y equals mx plus b. So this formula here is one that you need to write down. This is for the first part when we're going to be finding the slope between 2 lines. Or between 2 points. So the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, that's what we're going to be using first. It'll make more sense when we get into the examples, but make sure that you write that formula down. Okay, this is the steps for finding the slope between 2 points. So you're going to want to pause the video so that you can write this down. First thing you're going to do is label. Then you're going to write out your formula, plug it in, and make sure that it is reduced. First example, find the slope between these 2 points, -2, 4, and 1, -6. So the first thing I'm going to do is label. So this is going to be x1, y1, and the second point, x2, y2. Okay, so now we're going to write out the formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now we're just going to plug in. We're going to plug in carefully, make sure that we're putting everything in the right spot. Okay, my y2 value is -6, so that's going to go first. Always a minus sign in between. y1 is 4. Okay, on the bottom, x2 is 1, always a minus, and x1 is -2. Notice when I plugged in that negative number there, I put it in parentheses. Okay, so now we're going to reduce. -6 minus 4, you can plug that into your calculator, you'll get -10. Over, on the bottom you have 1 minus -2. So when you're plugging this into the calculator, make sure you put -2 inside parentheses, and you should get that that equals 3, because 2 negative signs right next to each other equals a positive. Okay, now we've got -10 over 3. Can that be reduced? Well, you can plug it into your calculator, you should get a decimal, which means it can't be reduced. So we're going to say -10 over 3 equals m, because m is the variable that we use to represent slope. Okay, next one. We have -2, 4 and 6, 4. So same thing, we need to find the slope between the 2 points. I'm going to start by labeling x1, y1, x2, y2, and then write out my formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now I'm going to plug in. My y2 value is 4. My y1 value is 4. x2 is 6. x1 is -2. Okay, now I'm going to reduce. 4 minus 4 is 0. On the bottom, 6 minus -2. That double negative is going to change to a positive, so it's going to be 8. And then in your calculator, you need to do 0 divided by 8, and you should get 0. And we're going to say m equals 0. Okay, next one, -7, 3 and -7, 6. So I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. Write out my formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Start plugging in. So 6 minus 3 over -7 minus -7. Start solving. 6 minus 3 is 3. -7 minus -7 is 0. Okay, plug that into calculator. 3 divided by 0, you should get undefined or syntax error or something like that. So when 0 is on the bottom, we always have to say undefined. So m is undefined. You can't have 0 on the bottom of a fraction. That's not something that's real. So we say that the slope is undefined. Okay, shifting gears a little bit here. So this is the second part, part 2, where we are going to be dealing with slope-intercept form. So I want you to write slope-intercept form, and then you need to write this equation, y equals mx plus b. Bold it, underline it, circle it, put stars around it, something. But this is the equation we're going to be using a lot over the next few weeks. Okay, also write that m equals slope and b is the y-intercept. M equals slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, m stands for slope, b stands for y-intercept. Okay. So this is how the directions are going to look for this. It says write the equation of the line, and it gives you m equals -3 and b equals 7. So slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay, all it wants us to do is plug in. So I've got y equals, my m value is -3, bring down the x, it's always there, and then my b value is 7, so it's going to be plus 7. That's my answer. Y equals -3x plus 7. Just plugging in. Next example, I have m equals 0 and b equals 7, 6. So again, I'm going to write out slope-intercept form. The more times you write it out, the faster you'll have it memorized. Okay, so my answer is y equals, m is 0, 0x, and then b is 7, 6, plus 7, 6. Okay, my only problem with this though is that 0x isn't really reduced. We don't write things like that. So I'm going to cross that out, and my answer is just going to be y equals 7 over 6. So y equals 7, 6 is the equation of that line. Okay, shifting gears again. So I'm going to have an equation with x and y on the same side of the equal sign. We need to put it into slope-intercept form. So I need to go from the format that we're given, and we need to solve it for y. So this is what it's going to look like. Looks super confusing with a bunch of letters. We'll just go right over to the example. Okay, it says find the equation of the line and then identify the slope. So I need to solve for y. So I need to get this into slope-intercept form. So the first step is going to be move my x term over. So I've got -3y equals -6x plus 24. Okay, what's my next step for solving for y? I need to divide by whatever is in front. And I take the negative sign with it. So y equals -6 divided by -3, that's 2x. 24 divided by -3 is -8. So that's my slope-intercept form, y equals 2x minus 8. But then the directions also ask us to identify the slope. So m equals whatever number is in front of x, so 2. So both of these should be in your answer. And the quiz that you're going to be taking in a couple weeks is formatted the same way. Students always forget to label m. So you might as well just start practicing now. Okay, next one, same directions. Find the equation of the line, identify the slope. So I need to solve for y. So the first thing I need to do is add 4x to both sides. So 3y equals 4x plus 12. And then I need to get rid of whatever is in front of y, so I need to divide both sides by 3. So y equals, that does not reduce, 4 over 3, so I'm just going to leave it. And 12 over 3 reduces to 4. And then you need to make sure you label your m. Your slope is 4/3. Okay, you're going to get lots of practice of slope and slope-intercept form and all this over the next couple weeks. All of your assignments can be found on Google Classroom.